Hello everyone. Good evening. This is Ron from kAIron's team. Welcome to today's episode. Today's episode about learning to build chatbots or digital assistants in kAIron. So I'll just start with the presentation. So today we are basically going to look at two features in kAIron, namely custom analytics. We can see how we can enhance decision making with custom analytics, and we are going to look at another interesting feature called as two-stage fallback action, which is basically a graceful handling when a bot goes into fallback. So we'll look at these two features and how we can implement them using our kAIron platform. So for those of us who are joining for the first time, a little bit info about kAIron. So kAIron is a platform where you can build digital assistants for your website or your web app or any other requirement. You may build as many digital assistants as you want, and you can deploy them at the click of a button very easily. So kAIron is a low code and almost no code. You get drag and drop features to build your stories and your rules, and you can create intents and utterances and all that. And you get a whole host of actions like API action, where you'll be able to fetch data or post data to a API, or maybe Google search action where you get data from Google and then the bot answers according to the response. Or maybe you will get other actions such as PyScript action, which is where you can write your custom Python code. That is why we call it kAIron no code or low code platform, and many other interesting and useful features you can get with our platform. And we also provide very effective and proactive monitoring and support. You get your chat history, you can get your logs in a single place, and you can simply monitor the performance of your digital assistant, and then kind of act on it and see how you can bet how the digital assistant can be made to perform better to a certain user queries. For example, if you see something that the bot is not responding properly, you can monitor chat history and then you can take corrective actions. So that is there, and we also provide end-to-end solutions for your digital assistant management. So right from creating to deploying to integrating with various channels. We also provide LLM based digital assistants, or you can simply build a machine learning based on Rasa. So we offer various end-to-end solutions for your all your needs and requirements, whatever you can expect from a chatbot or a digital assistant. So that is about kAIron in brief. So you can visit us at www.kairon.com to know more. You can also request a demo if you want. We'll be very happy to kind of understand how you want to use a digital assistant in your business or in your website, and we'll be happy to build one for you, or assist one in building one for you. So moving on to today's agenda, like I said, what we'll be doing is we'll be setting up a digital assistant. So we will create a chatbot first, and then we will look at two interesting features. One of them is two-stage fallback action. We'll see. So normally, what happens is when you build a bot, you build all the conversation flows, and you want the bot to kind of go through. I mean, follow the conversation flow that you are building, and you want so the user to have a smooth conversation, like just like he will have with a human. But normally, that is not what happens. Normally, sometimes I'm sorry. So normally, there are scenarios where the bot kind of fails to understand the user query. So in that scenario, there is a fallback mechanism. So what is two-stage fallback? Why it is named two-stage fallback is basically what we normally have as a default is just a simple statement that says that the bot responds, and the bot simply says that I was not able to understand whatever you have said. So that is very static, and the bot simply responds with that one sentence, and the user then has to think about what way or what other question or other query he can ask the bot to get his problem solved. So that is what a fallback is. But in two-stage fallback, you can make it a little bit more dynamic, and you can make the conversation a little bit more smooth. Whereas wherein you can give the user a number of options. So when the bot goes into fallback, it will give the user the actions that you have configured. So let's say the user is asking about registration. He asks in it in a way that the bot fails to understand. But then what you can do is you can configure it such that uh, the bot predicts that the user may be asking about this, or maybe if there is some action that you want the user to do anyway. So you can also add your custom actions, and you can configure such buttons that the user will see, and you'll get the user to click on that. So this works in two ways. When you configure your two-stage fallback action, you can either have a recommendations from the bot, or oh, I'm really sorry, I forgot to share my screen. So I was just told that I was not sharing my screen. Apologies for that. So I had just started with this. Yeah, sorry about that. So I had just started with this screen where I was talking about the two features that we'll discuss today. And this was the slide about basics of kAIron for those of you who don't know. And so I was on this slide, the agenda, what we'll be covering today. So as I was talking about two-stage fallback action, what I was saying is instead of having a simple static fallback, what you can have is you can configure a number of buttons where you will tell the bot that at least give the user to the option to the closest prediction that you had. So let's say the bot is predicting with a certain confidence that the user might be talking about this, and let's say the confidence is around 50%. So what you but the confidence threshold that you have set is 70%. As in you want the bot to answer if only if it's 70% or more confident. So in that case, what you will do is you will tell the bot that okay, now that you are in fallback, uh, take the next best prediction that what you think the user might be asking, or you can give your custom button. So let's say you want the user to register with his email address, or you want the user to provide his intention, or book a demo with you or something. So you can also have your custom buttons. So that is how you can dynamically handle this fallback gracefully. And the second interesting feature about kAIron that we'll be looking today is the custom analytics. And what custom analytics basically provides is in kAIron, as I've already mentioned, we have end-to-end solutions. We have a certain level of monitoring that we provide so that you can monitor your digital assistant. So in that, we have our own analytics where we have provided the widgets which we think might be useful for the user of kAIron to get to know, I mean, to know more about his bot and the functioning of his bot or a digital assistant. But there may be cases where the user feels that if we had some more analytics, he'll be able to better judge how the bot is working and how to take corrective measures. So for that, we have come up with custom analytics, wherein you can simply plug in your data that you have with you. You can create a API. So this is slightly advanced feature for the maybe developers or something. We can help you with it if you feel you're stuck somewhere. So what you can do is you can connect your data, and you create a certain APIs, and you return the data in such a way that you will be able to render charts on your widgets. Maybe it will be more clear when we see it actually working. So let us now move forward. Yeah, so custom analytics is a feature designed to empower users with personalized data visualization capacities. Like I just mentioned, you can effortlessly add your own widgets to the dashboard according to your needs. And so currently we provide a number of charts like donut chart, or line charts, or column charts, and a stat card widget that we can provide. We will be adding more and more widgets as we move in the future into the custom analytics page. So it will be very easy for you to visualize and interpret your data. So right now we currently have 4 to 5 charts which we'll be looking at today. So this is how the customatics page looks on the kAIron platform. So as you can see, this particular user has configured 2 donut charts and 1 heat map, 1 line chart. So uh, according to whatever his needs are and his data is. So this is like this is a line chart about request volume, or let's say this is a heat map about user interactions and so on. So this is how this particular user has used this his data to visualize and to create widgets. So we'll see how we can do that. And of course, then the second one is two-stage fallback action. I've already covered this part, the details about it. So it's basically instead of having static fallback responses, you can personalize your fallback strategy tailored according to your needs. Is what two-stage fallback action is. Okay. So now we'll move to the actual platform, and we'll see these two features in working. So let's say I go to app.kairon.com. Let me just log out. I have already logged. Yeah. So this is where our platform is at, app.kairon.com, and this is the login screen. So if you don't have an account, you can sign up here and create your account. You can maybe use social logins as well. So as I already have my account, I'll just go here and I'll log in into my account. So this is the main chatbots page. As you can see, I have multiple chatbots that I have created for different use cases of mine. So for today's demo, I have already created a bot. We'll get to that later. But right now, I'll just show you how you can create a chatbot, how you can add stories and everything briefly. So I'll just call it demo bot 2. Okay, so the bot has been added. So this is our bot. So when you add a bot, you get some default stories like greet and buy. So what you can do is according to your need, you can add more and more stories here. So what are stories? Stories are basically conversation flows, like I just said. So a particular way in which you want the bot to handle a particular conversation is what you will define here. And as you go on adding more and more stories, and you can train your bot here, the bot will be able to handle all of your use cases. So this is what this page is all about. Then we have the components page where we add different components of the story. So like greet is an intent. We have utterances. Utterances basically what the bot will respond. So for example, when the user says what's up, the bot will respond with utter greet. That is, he'll say, let me be your AI assistant, and so on. So this is what a normal, and I'll also show you the story. So here we have a simple greet story where the when the user intent is greet, the bot will respond with utter greet. So whenever the user says hello, hi there, greetings, or any of this training example, the bot will respond with either of these two. Okay, and similarly, we have another story that is the bye story. So when the user says goodbye or see you later, the bot says see you later or I'm so one of the three options that are given here. So this is exactly how the bot works. This is pretty basic, like question and answer kind of bot. If you have let's say a FAQ page and you want a bot to answer your user questions, you can simply come here and create multiple stories, and you can create multiple intents and utterances where the intent is about the question that the user is asking, and if it matches according to the topics that you want the user to know, you can simply add the utterances. So let's say you have a offline presence and you have an offline shop, and you want the user to know, and if the user asks you if you have a shop in Mumbai, so in that case the intent would be like ask about shop. And since you have that, you want to answer it, you want the user to know about it, what you'll simply do is answer shop, and you'll say we have a shop in Mumbai or we have a shop in Delhi, and so on. So this is how you can simply create a question and answer bot. And like I mentioned, this is really like the basic. We have a whole host of actions. Like I said, we have API actions where you can get your data or post your data. We have email actions where you can trigger emails via stories. And then we have all of these. We have PyScript action. We have Razor Pay action where you can make payments on the bond and so on. So today we are specifically going to focus on two-stage fallback action. So in our current state, if I say, so this is the bot client that you can trigger from here. So we have this icon here. When you say show bot, you will get this, and when you go to the bot, you can start chatting with the chatbot or the digital assistant. So it says the bot has not been trained yet, so you can train your bot here. So I just click on training, and you can monitor your training history as well. So it says model training has started. It takes about 2 minutes. When we don't have a large amount of stories, it is really fast. But as you go on adding stories, it gets. I mean, the training time goes on getting larger. So right now it should be around 2 minutes, and the bot will get trained. So till then, we can just move to the bot that I have already created. I will get back to this bot later since it is training now. So this demo bot we have already created and trained. So it also has two stories, but it has one more story that I've added called about us. So let us see how this bot is functioning. So when I say hi, it will say let me be your digital assistant. So when you go to monitor, you go to chat history, you can see this. So you are saying hi, it has identified it as greet intent, and it has responded with utter greet. So this is how the bot will simply work when it identifies correctly. Let's say it doesn't identify correctly. So in that case, we have a default fallback, and we have this two-stage fallback action, which I have already configured on this bot. So you can simply go to components page, you can go to actions besides utterances, and in actions you have all of these actions, and one of them is a two-stage fallback action. So two-stage fallback action is simply a form in this. You have a few fields. I'll just explain each field, what it means, and when and where you can use it. So for a fallback message is basically something. I'll just first show you the bot two-stage fallback in action. Let's say I say something that the bot has not been trained on. Like simply word. Okay, so the bot has not been trained to handle this kind of a user query where the user is simply saying word. The bot doesn't understand what to do. So in that case, the bot is going into fallback. See, he's going to enable fallback. I'll also show you why it is responding with this when it is going into enable fallback. But for now, just understand that the bot has not understood what you're saying, what the user is saying, and that's why he has gone into fallback. So let us now get back to our main two-stage fallback action. So this fallback message that you see here is what we have configured here. So it is basically a message where you tell the user that I, as the bot, have not understood what you are saying. Are you trying to say one of these things? If not, you can do one of these things. Is what this basically message you want to convey. So this is what you can configure here. And if you don't, so this is the default fallback message. If you don't want to use this as a default fallback message, you can simply switch this off. You can switch off the default fallback message and you can simply write your own message. Let's say I have not understood your query. Do you mean one of the questions below or something similar? So you can ask, you can have your own fallback message, and you can switch this off in that case. So this message will change when you train the bot. We'll see that in action. And for the number of recommendations, what it basically means is what you're telling the bot that I want one of your other predictions. Like since you were not able to identify this, but whatever next best predictions that you have that the user might be saying, I want one of those recommendations, is what this number is. So what happens is when a user gives a query, the bot will try to identify what the user is saying, and he will try to classify the user's question into intents. And we have a threshold that says you respond to the intent that you have classified only if you are confident about it, only if you are sure that this is what the user is saying. For example, um, see, in our earlier query, when I was saying hi, the bot was 100% confident that the user is greeting. So in that case, the intent is greet. The bot was 100% confident about it. So he confidently responded with utter greet. So that is what we are telling the user. I mean, that is what the bot tries to do. What we have set up, what we have told the bot is only if you are more than 70% confident, or that is configurable. Let's say you want it to be 80%. So you will tell the bot only if you are more than 80% confident about what the user is saying, you respond to your according to your prediction. Otherwise, you go into fallback, is what we have told the bot. So in this case, here he was only 80% confident, not more than 80%. So he has gone into fallback. So in that case, there may be other intents that the bot has predicted where the confidence level may be lower. So so we have a number of other intents like let's say we have greed, buy, we may have more here. So the bot will be slightly less confident about all of these that the user might be saying buy, or the user might be talking about us. So the level of confidence for these queries will be like 50% or 40% or 30%, so on. So what we are telling the bot here is in your recommendations, let's say you have three or more other recommendations that you think the user is saying, you take one of them. That is what we are telling the bot. The other low prediction intents that you have, you take one of them, and you take the intent according to their ranking. Let's say one intent is at 60% confidence, one intent is at 50% confidence. You take one of them, you take the highest, you take the intent that is at the highest confidence amongst the rest. So that is what we are telling here. And then we are adding a custom button where we are telling the bot that the button should be named contact us, because we want the user to have another option. Let's say all of these recommendations are really not up to the mark. So we want the user to have a default option. So we want that option to be contact us. So when the user clicks this button, what we want the bot to do is we want to trigger this intent. So when he says contact us, we want the bot to trigger about us, and the message should be send me contact details. So we'll see this in action. So like I said, I've already passed a user query to the bot called word. The bot has failed to identify, so it has gone into fallback. So in our two-stage fallback action, what we have configured is, so we got this default message because we had earlier configured that, and we got these two buttons. One of them is coming from here, is coming from the recommendations, and the other one is the trigger rule that we have created. So that is why we are seeing the contact us button here, and when we click on this, the payload will be about us. So let's see what happens when we click on this. So what it has done is, since we have clicked on the button, it has sent this message here. I'm sorry, let me just yeah, let me just minimize it. Yeah. So what it has done is it has sent this as a message, what we have configured here, and it has when we click on this button, when we click on this button, yeah, it has sent this message and triggered this intent. So we have got our response according to that intent. Okay. So that is how this two-stage fallback action is working. So the final part to this is, once you configure this action here in the components page, what you need to do is you need to add this in the ask the user to refresh. So this is the default fallback rule. So whenever the bot goes into fallback, it classifies the intent as NLU fallback, and you come here, you simply add this two-stage fallback action and you save this. So since I've already added this, I'll just delete this. You simply add it from here. You click on actions, you add this action, and then you save the story. So then whenever your bot goes into fallback, it identifies, it triggers NLU fallback intent, and then it triggers this kAIron two-stage fallback action. This is how you tell the bot that instead of the default static fallback action, I want you to use this two-stage fallback action. So that was about the two-stage fallback action. We will just go through the form once again. This is what we have done here. We have configured it. We have added it to the story, and then we see it working. So this is how you can gracefully handle fallbacks. So now moving on to our other feature in today's agenda, we are going to see custom analytics. So like I said, in our monitoring, we already have a default analytics page where we give you details about your bot that we feel that are important, and we have added widgets according to what we feel is important. So yeah. Yeah, so this is the analytics page that we have on our bot, and it has data. Uh, it has data that we feel is important for any basic monitoring of a chatbot or a digital assistant, and we have created these widgets here. So let's say we have this stat card widget where we are telling you about user retention, how many new users you have had. So this is for a particular time period. So currently the date range is for 1 month. You can change this date range, and you can see how your bot has performed over time. So this is data about the last 1 month. So all of these widgets, you can individually filter data, and you can see how your bot has performed. So currently we are at 6 successful conversations. So since I've created this bot, I have had conversations. We all of these conversations were successful, and we have top intent. So the top triggered intent was greed, and so on. So these are all the analytics that we already provide on the platform. But if you want your own analytics on this page, you can simply add your widgets, which will then get rendered here. So how we'll see where to add these widgets. For that, you have to go to the administration page, and in administration, you have to go to custom analytics section. So in this, I've already added a few widgets for demo. So what you can simply do is like I said, you have your own data in some database somewhere. You can create a API that will serve the data, and that will serve the data according to what the widget needs. So that is how you can create a custom widget. What kind of widgets and what should be the nature of the data is all given in this documentation. We'll share this with you if you need. So right now, like I said, we have the stat cards widget, we have the column chart, we have the donut chart, we have the heat map chart, we have the multiple line charts, and we can also have custom filters. So the basic filter that we provide that we can have is a date range filter, obviously, because we want to see data in a particular range, and you can have categorical filtering, or yeah, so these are the two types of filtering that we currently provide. Any other filtering you can have, you simply have to do the filtering in the API, and you have to provide the data accordingly. So let's move to our demo. So let's say you want to add a stat cards widget. So I'll just show you what stat card widget looks like. So let's say you have your data and you want to present your data in such a fashion. So these are the stat cards. So like we have new users, engaged users, and so on. Maybe you have some data about the bot related to the bot or the performance of the bot that you want to see, you want to monitor. You can simply create a stat card widget, and you can fetch your data, and you can show it in your custom analytics page. So we'll see how you can do that. So for that, I have created a simple Node.js server, which simply, when you say widget one, it simply gives you the data for the first widget. So this is how your data will look like. Whatever properties or whatever data types we have here is all listed in the documentation. So let's say for the stat cards, we have widget ID, header tooltip, header title, and so on. So all of this comes here. And what type of data is expected? The widget data. What type of data is expected? What properties does that data have? Is all given in detail in this document. So when you read this document, you will be able to understand what kind of data you need to create in order to have the widgets. So this is all the data that a column chart needs. So right now I have a column chart that gives me info about registration pattern. So for product A, for product B, C, and D. So for these four products, right from Jan to June, what was my registration pattern? This is a dummy data that I've created. Maybe you can have instead of registration pattern, you can see something else here, but that is according to your needs. You can change this. You can also change the color of the column charts in primary colors, that is in widget data, and the series is basically what the column chart data will show. So for product A, from Jan to June, we have 44 to 45, 40, 41, 67. So these are all registrations that happened for product A for Jan to June. And similarly, we have for product B, C, and D. And this filter, like we have already seen, we have a date range filter where we have initial start date, initial end date, which we can configure. So now we'll see how this widget works in action. So this is simply like the response of a API that you will create, and you will have on your end. and you will have to provide this API which will give such a response. So that is something that you will have to do. Okay, so I already have this. I've already configured this widget here. So we'll simply see how you can configure your own widget. So when you come on this page, you'll get the add widget button. You simply click on add widget. You type the name of your widget. The request method will obviously be get because you want to get the data, and you simply provide your URL here. So right now I have hosted my dummy API on Ngrok, and I have this URL. So this will give me this data. So that is what has been configured here. And you can have request parameters and dynamic parameters or headers according to what your API needs. You can add here, you can add request parameters, or you can also add headers. This is all part of the API according to your requirement. I mean, according to how you have designed the API. But right now we don't need, because we are using a dummy API. So we don't need any authentication, we don't need any authorization headers and so on. But if you want, you can add all of that here. So that is what simply we are doing. We are creating a new widget. We are giving the URL and we say save or update. So now we have this widget configured here, the column chart widget. And now if I go to custom analytics, see, we are getting this column chart widget. So since we have said that the header title is registration pattern, you're getting that here. You're getting the header tooltip as well. The filters that you have configured came here. You can see the date range filter. If you add more filters, you will get that here as well. And you can see the data from Jan to June for all these 4 products. So this is how simply we have configured a custom widget. We have added our data and we have created API that responds with this data, and we have just provided the URL of the data here. So you'll get this data from so and so, and you just go and fetch and you render it here. So similarly, in similar fashion, we have added 3 more widgets. We have added a donut chart, a line chart, and a stat card chart. So I have simply gone, I have said add widget, then I have simply given the URL. So this is all that you have to do. You go to the administrations page, you go to the custom analytics page, and you configure your widgets. That is all you have to do here. And once you create a API that gives a response in the fashion that the widget requires, we can see that in the examples here. This is how your data should be, and you will get your data on the custom analytics page. So see, if we take another example, I have configured a donut chart here. So this is coming from this widget that we have. So we have configured a donut chart. We have given it a header tooltip and header title, and we have given it some labels that this data is about completed conversations of your chatbot. So we have given this complete and incomplete labels. So whatever conversation your chatbot has completed or not completed will come into this donut chart. So right now we'll simply change the yeah, so we have changed the title, we saved it, we have restarted the server, and now you will be able to see the changes. See, now you can see it is called conversations breakdown, and it has a tooltip that says donut chart to show info about completed conversations. So you can also configure this. So right now it is saying active. I can simply say completed, and when I save this, I restart the server. You'll be able to see it in action. Yeah. So the inner label is completed. You can have maybe completed conversations or something or maybe some more info. So you can see right now we have 23 completed conversations and 44 incomplete conversations. So this is how you can track the performance of your bot. You are seeing more red here. That means your bot is not performing or something like that. So this is how you can add different analytics. So to know how your bot has been performing or to know some other data points that you want right on the platform, and then you can take corrective actions or you can take decisions to kind of change how the bot is working and make it more useful, make the conversations more useful for your end user. So yeah. Similarly, I have, like I said, we have seen column chart, we have seen donut chart. Similarly, I have added two more widgets, namely the line chart, the multiple line chart. So in the multiple line chart, you get one or I mean two or more line charts here. If you only have one, that will also work. You will not get these tabs in that case, and you'll simply get the line chart. So that is what I have configured here. I'll not go through all the properties here. They are all mentioned in this document. So if you want to see a multiple line chart, this is the data that you'll have to prepare. You'll simply fetch the data from your database, uh, do some processing to change the data into this form and shape, and your API should provide that data. And what you will do is you'll configure your API endpoint here. You'll tell kAIron that my API is configured here. You'll get the data from here and you paste it. You render it on the custom analytics page. So that is what I've done here. I've just simply created a server. I've hosted it locally, and I can see four widgets on the custom analytics page. So that is how you can have any number of widgets here. You can configure it in whichever way you want. You can have maybe a heat map or a donut chart. So we'll be adding to these charts as we progress. Right now, we feel these are the basic charts that anyone would need. Maybe we'll add more complicated charts in the future, and you'll get the detailed documentation of those, how to use those charts, how to add these charts in your custom analytics page. All right, so that was about the two features, the two kAIron features that we were going to look into today. The first one we saw was the two-stage fallback action, and the second one that we saw was the custom analytics feature. Like I said, we have a whole host of other features, very interesting, very useful features that you can use to uh, build and deploy your digital assistant and maybe get better customer service to your end users and so on. So I'll welcome you to try the kAIron platform for that, or visit us at kairon.com and just contact us, and we'll be very happy to give you a demo of all the features that we have, and we will be happy to understand what use cases you have and how best we can use our platform to serve you. Yeah, so that was all from my end today. Thank you very much for listening. Yeah, so I'll just drop off. Thank you very much.